Hi, everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of LTC Heroes Live by Experience Care. I'm Victoria Arama, your host for today. And today I am joined by Teresa Gatto, the Chief Operating Officer at Clement Manor. It's an honor to have you on the show. Hi, Teresa, how are you?
Hello, everyone. I'm doing great. Thank you.
So I remember the first meeting we had. You talked to me about a little bit of your background and how you got into long-term care, and I thought it was such an inspiring and unique story because I've never heard that. Everybody's going to understand what we're talking about once we get into it, but it's a really unique background that you have, and I would love for you to tell us a little bit more about that. So tell us a little bit how you started working kind of in long-term care and what's your background look like.
Absolutely. Well, I started out my career in the hotel industry, and it was a wonderful opportunity for me to serve others and really roll out the red carpet and make them feel special in the role that I had. First, I started out as a front desk clerk, but I discovered the concierge position while I was in the hotel that I worked at. And I thought, wow, that would be so great to be a concierge. The concierge was the person that could help make people's stay really incredible. You could get tickets to sold out shows, recommend reservations to really great restaurants and things like that. And I remember just wanting that position, and I ended up applying for it and getting the job. And I had to really study for the position because I was not from the Milwaukee area where the position was. So I really had to read up on everything that I could get my hands on. And I found myself in a career that was just very rewarding and one that made people's day brighter. So I worked in the hotel industry, and eventually I was hired to work as a concierge more in the corporate world. So the company that I worked for, we served office towers, corporations. We took care of people in hospitals, so the patients, but also the workers who were there. Um, they found that it was a wonderful benefit to employees because they had all these wonderful sign on bonuses, but what they really needed was to be able to give people their time back. And so, as a concierge, we could handle their dry cleaning, their grocery shopping, make appointments for their kids, even handle their car services while they work. So that was a wonderful job. I had so much fun with it, and all of a sudden the company took off. And what we did is we replicated what I was doing in the job that I was in throughout the country, and very specific to hospital concierge work because we just found that that was so needed at the time. So I was in that role, working and building in that concierge company. And I found myself about 12 years ago where I needed to pivot and move into a new industry. So just taking the skills that I had and my strong desire to serve others, I thought, what better place to serve than in a senior living continuum? I felt that the things that I could bring to the table would really make a positive difference for the residents and their families. And so I began my position as a director of resident services and really was able to learn lots about the senior living industry. And what was different about it, obviously, was the healthcare aspect. So I ran across a few amazing nurses that took me under their wing. Very early on, I had one nurse say, anytime I get a call, you're going with me so that you can learn what it is we do, and we're going to learn what it is you want us to do. And that was a great combination because you can have really amazing clinicians, but if you don't have that aspect of customer service, it doesn't always go over very well. So the combination worked really well. I learned probably more about healthcare and nursing and wounds and things like that than I would ever imagine that I would learn about. But I was also able to present to my teams how important it was to make people feel special and to give them the quality care that they deserve.
Of course. And I'm curious, is there like some things that you learned along the way in terms of, working for acute and post acute? Is that something like did something was it something specific to long-term care that you had to do differently?
I think it was really truly just learning the various levels of care that people come to. So anything from a senior, older adult coming to live at the organization where I work and maybe not having very many needs, but there are people who have a spouse that may need assisted living or memory care. We also have a rehab for people who may have come out of a surgery. We have the skilled nursing home, which some people really need. So it was really a matter of understanding where people are at and what their needs are in the
Yeah.
various levels of aging.
Yeah, of course. So let's talk a little bit about uh, applying that kind of hospitality background into long-term care. So what, as a concierge, like what are the things that you put in place that you took from that background of hospitality?
Mhm. So I grew up in a family owned business. So my dad was a grocer in a small town, and we really got connected with various business owners in the area, but even more specifically with the farmers that would come in and provide the fresh produce. And I just remember learning very early on that it's so important to make really good connections because you can help others and they can help you, and you create this really wonderful synergy of serving others. So I just found that it's very important to get to know people and really understand who they are. I really relate to the golden rule. I mean, it's something my dad taught me, treat others the way you want to be treated. But as I went throughout my career, I found something that I like even better, and it's the platinum rule. And it's something Dr. Alexandra presented in a book that I had read, and I thought, wow, this is different. And the platinum rule is treat others the way they want to be treated. And it was
Oh,
like, wow, light bulb moment. I
yeah,
mean, everybody's not going to want to be treated the way I would want to be treated, but it's through building those relationships that can really help you understand what makes people tick, what people want. Not every older adult that moves into our community is going to want to play bingo and go to the arts and crafts. They might be more into trivia or
yep,
attending classes or learning about Tai Chi or yoga. So you
of
really
course.
need to understand where people are at and what is important to them. And the same goes true for your employees. I feel it's so critical that you understand who is working alongside you. And so, you might have an amazing CNA and you think, wow, they do such a great job, but do you really know them? So I encourage my team to get to know the people that they're working alongside. And what's so amazing, I find, is that often the CNA or the person that is cleaning the apartments, they know so much and they can help you better serve your residents and
Yeah.
better serve them as employees as well.
I'm so glad you mentioned relationship building because we've been doing LTC Heroes goes to a lot of conventions and we've been doing keynote speeches about kind of having that connection with residents, families, and stuff. And have you ever read the book Five Languages of Love?
Yes, yes, I
Yes.
have.
So yeah, and we are applying the same methodology based on like having that connection with your staff and because something is like you can have a relationship with a CNA, like you can have a work relationship with that person. You say hi to them every morning, but do you know what their life is outside of work? Do you know how the right way to make them feel appreciated and valued? And that's something I feel like it's more than just a relationship. It's a connection with
Yes.
people that you're working with. So how are there any ways that you specifically kind of work towards like building that connection with your staff and people in your community?
So, with the staff, we just started doing some things as it relates to personality testing. So, we started with our executive team and we had a lot of fun with the Enneagram, which I know a lot of people are familiar with. And so, just being able to take the assessment, look and learn a little bit more about yourself. Generally there are a few surprises when face the facts of, wow, this is really me. But I think also, getting to know your team members and understanding why they are the way they are and why they have the expertise and the drive that they have. I mean, we really had a lot of fun with that. I've also done a fun short. It's called the Animal Personality Test. And that is where you take a test and you kind of understand a little bit about, is this person a lion, a beaver, golden retriever, or an otter?
I
And
love
it's
that.
just so fun. It's a quick 5 to 10 minute test that you take. And then people start looking around like, hey, I'm not the only otter here. So otters love having a good time while they work. And so you start looking around and you think, wow, it's amazing. We have all four animals on this big team of ours being represented because you really can understand one another a lot better and maybe find things that are for the otter, okay, let's make sure we invite the otter to the next meeting because they're going to bring the fun, if we really want to have a good time.
Mhm.
So I think for me, it's just finding ways that you can understand one another because that, I believe, helps you work better as a team.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And what are some of the things related to relationship building that you've done maybe with residents to be, to have that stronger connection with them?
Sure. So we do lots and lots of activities, and I love taking part in the activities and going out and meeting the residents and meeting their families. I think it's just so critical that they know who I am and know that they can call upon me if there's anything that they need, but also, just having fun with them and visiting with them. We had a really great open house yesterday, and we had probably over 100 people gather. And at the same time, we had invited the community in to take tours and listen to some live music. And it was just a great opportunity to have people mingling and understanding all the wonderful things that we offer here on our campus.
Of course. And the last part of relationship building we're going to touch base on is community. So you Clement Manor in general, you guys have done so much, and I know because I've follow on LinkedIn a lot of what you guys do, and I've seen so many really cute activities that you guys have done with your community, with the local schools, and so forth. So, can you share a little bit of that with us?
Sure. So I can kind of highlight a couple of things. So you mentioned the schools. We had a planting day in May. So we have a 8-acre campus that we wanted to make more beautiful. And so we had gone and gotten all the supplies. So the dirt, the pots, the um, gloves and shovels and all of that. And our residents had volunteered to help plant. And what I had done is I had invited a local school to come up with some students that could come and help us. So we had a group of second graders come along with their principal and some teachers. And we had probably one of the most fun planting days that we've ever had as long as I've been here. So the children would come alongside the residents and a few staff members, and we had just tons of plants that were planted, beautiful flowers. We were placing them all over the campus, and there was just so many really neat connections. One woman had talked with a couple of little students, and I thought, oh, that's really sweet. She's probably relating to them as maybe like a grandma, oh, it's so great to have these kids here. But when they left, she told me that brought so many memories back for me from when I grew up on the farm. I used to love planting with my mom and my dad, and I had my own garden. And I thought, oh, that's so neat for her to really recall back 75 years ago of when she was a child. And so that was just a really neat intergenerational opportunity that so many people really enjoyed. And I can also share with you, we had a board member come to us and he said, my mother really loved making a difference in the community. And she, for a long time, has been putting together these nice little care packages. And they go out into the community, and it's a way that you can make people's day brighter. Sometimes it's a homeless person maybe receiving, some socks and trail mix and a bottle of water, and he said it's just been so wonderful. But since then, my mother has passed, and I'm wondering if a group of your residents would like to take this task on. And I said, absolutely. And I connected with our activity manager up in our memory care. And I said, how would you like to take over a project? And she very quickly said, yes, I'd love to. So our residents in our memory care are now putting together these amazing care packages, and they are just like machines. They have this assembly line going and all wonderful treats and essential supplies that they're putting together. And what they do is they hand that over to the Milwaukee Police Department. And it's a great way for the police to be able to go out and connect with people that may need those essentials. And so twice already, the police chief and his team came to thank our residents for making such a positive difference in the community. And it was just so neat to see these people just overjoyed with the fact that they're making a big difference. And it really was something that I am so grateful that we took that on. And it's made the residents feel that they have a purpose and they are able to make people happy.
I think that's so special. And I'm thinking is maybe someone that will watch this interview and think, oh, that's so many great ideas. Like, is it hard to implement these things, or is it take a lot of time to plan, or is it not that much time?
It really it does take some definite coordination. It takes for people to have the drive to make it happen. So we had our point person who was our activity person that took that on, and we worked closely with the family that gave us the idea and the project, and they supplied us with lots of great things. But really, honestly, the residents did the work, and they were so ambitious that they couldn't wait to get started. And they would count the number of bags that they would do, and they would see the big stack piling up, and they couldn't wait to get those out into the community. So it really, honestly, I'd recommend it to anybody. It's a wonderful way for the residents to be a part of something very special.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
So as we're getting closer to the end of the episode, let's do a little nice activity that we like to do to close the show, which is the rapid fire questions. So I'll ask you really fast 4 different questions, and you should just answer as they go, as fast as you can. Let's go. You ready?
You bet.
Okay. So the first one is, what are the book or books that you've given the most as a gift, and why?
Ooh, I can tell you. There's a book called The Energy Bus by John Gordon, and I recommend it to anyone that wants to have a very fulfilling team to work with. We not only gave the gift of the Energy Bus book to our employees, we also use it as a philosophy here on our campus. It's about being in charge of yourself and making people around you happy and staying positive. And it really has been something that I believe our team has embraced, and it's made a big difference. So I would recommend The Energy Bus, and really all the books that John Gordon has written have been very good.
Awesome. Let's So the second one is, what's something that you've done in the last year that you're extremely proud of?
I would say for years, we have heard from people out in the community who have somebody they care about deeply that may be suffering from dementia say to us, do you have a place that I can bring my loved ones so I can go to a wedding out of town? Or I am really burnt out right now. Is there something that your Clement Manor can do to be of help to me? So because I have a team that's always open and willing to take things on that are new and different, we were able to implement a respite program here on our Clement Manor campus. And so not only are we handling independent living, assisted living, memory care, transitional care, and a nursing home, we also have this respite care. And the stories I hear from the family members saying, I can't tell you how much it meant to me for me to be able to get away, have peace of mind, and know that my loved one is being well cared for, and they can come and pick them up and bring them back home. And it was just a way to kind of rejuvenate for both the person who came to stay as well as the caregiver. So that the respite care, I think, is something I'm really proud that our team implemented.
Wow, that's beautiful. Congratulations for that. That's
Thank
really
you.
wow.
Thank you.
So, my next question would be, do you have a favorite influencer?
I do. I am a huge Teepa Snow fan. Um, Teepa is an educator for the dementia, people who are either caring for people with dementia. And I have had the true blessing to be trained by Teepa on various occasions. And what I find so incredible now is with social media, Teepa is at your fingertips. And so you can hop on classes that she hosts by going to her website. You can hop on a YouTube video, and she has demonstrations on how to, she calls it the snow approach, the Teepa
Mhm.
snow approach, and just making people aware of the fact that people who have dementia are just like you and me. They want to have a gentle approach. They want to have time to understand what needs to be done. Um, Never come from behind and try to assist somebody. Make sure you see them and look at them in the eye and say, I'm here to help you. So there's just some really great things that she teaches that I strongly believe in. And I discovered the other day that she has her own TikTok um, channel, and I recommend it to everybody because there are so many people now that are impacted by dementia in the world, and if you don't know somebody that has dementia, someday you probably will. So it's a great way for you to learn about dementia and the best approach so that you can treat them with dignity and respect.
I am so glad you said cheap as no. And people are gonna think this was like planned. It was not planned, but we interviewed Tipa on the show.
Oh, nice.
Yes, and she gives so many good tips on exactly how to train your staff to deal with people with dementia. And she's just the smartest, one of the smartest people ever. So
I
definitely, if you're
really do.
interested in seeing more about her, we do
Oh,
have an episode with her on this, and she was absolutely amazing. So I'm so glad you said Tipa.
yeah, I love her. I've learned so much from her, and yeah.
Awesome. So my last question is, what advice would you give to a smart, driven college student about to enter the real world?
Oh, I just believe in networking. I think it is so critical to find leaders in the industry that you want to be in. Reach out to them, let them know that you want to learn from them and how they got to the top, and just it to me it seems like there are a lot of people that are willing to help or at least spend some time letting you know what has helped them in their role. So networking, asking people to go to coffee, providing an opportunity to connect with them is really something I believe strongly in.
Yeah, that's a very good advice,
Yeah.
actually. So, yeah, well, thank you so much, Teresa, for joining us on the show today.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And for everybody else, stay tuned for the next episode, and thank you for watching.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.